what's right because they're just a crazy old person.
Oh, that's always fun.
You know.
Oh, that sounds like a sweet gig.
Yeah.
Cush gig, bro.
You've been here for a month because you're on chemo, but I'm going to offer the same food to you every week.
I don't know. I got criticized yesterday from one of my students. She looks at me. She's like, "Do you have 2 pairs of those pants?"
Ooh.
And I went, "No." I went, "No." And she's like, "Are you wearing those same ones you wore yesterday?" In the front of the classroom. And I was like, "Yeah. Is that okay with you? People wear pants more than once before they wash them." And I was like, "Raise your hand, everyone who wears pants twice at least." And like everyone raised their hands.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I wear pants for like 2 or 3 weeks. Not in a row, but like 2 or 3 weeks before they go in the wash.
That's okay. Yeah. I think that's okay.
I've had these same underwear on for a week.
Yuck.
So then
We're supposed to have more than one pair of underwear?
So today,
I didn't know that.
I showed today, and she's like, "Nice pants," because they were just different from the ones before.
You should have been like, nice face.
Yeah.
So is that your face that you're going to wear all week?
Yeah.
Is that
That's
the
what I
face?
get at
So
my
are you
job.
going to be a bitch all week?
Pants?
Or are you just on your...
Jesus.
Well,
So
people,
stupid.
you know, they care.
Yeah, same pants.
Same pants. I'll give you same pants, motherfucker.
I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore last week
Yeah, me too.
on the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, whoops.
Me too.
I love me some David Tennant.
All right,
Well, I love me some...
let's do
What's
us
his
the
face?
show.
I love me
Serenity.
some Kim Jong-il.
Huh? Oh, he's right in the Firefly.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
we've got the best shirts.
Oh, nice.
Fillion.
Team America.
Team America.
Oh my god, those are my favorite everything.
Firefly film.
I like that. That's cool. Okay, here we go.
All those.
All like rubbing
everybody
your
rub our
shirts.
bellies.
Everybody rub your shirt.
Okay.
I don't have a belly, so I
have a big
can't
one.
really...
Oh,
I got
all
God.
I have is these muscles.
Lots
This,
of
Yeah.
this
rub my
8-pack. Can I rub my...
Thomas, I need a sandwich.
Oh, you.
All right, here we go.
From the guys that brought you Butt Go 6 and 14.
Keep talking, Kimberly.
Ba. That's my thing.
Darn Fergan drinking geesin'.
I don't know what that means, but I like it.
Must be French. I am everything. I am the Alpha and Omega, the A to Z on the fucking internet. No. Cute doesn't belong on the internet. I belong on the internet.
Kim's scary.
I know.
Scary, shut the fuck up, Thomas.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's Hanging from the Balcony with Sir Jared, the Professor, Nathan Betts, Miss Professor, and Thomas the Doubter.
Oh, I know what's going on here. There we go.
There we go. And record.
And hello to Hanging from the Balcony, everybody. I'm your host, Lewis, Professor. We're going to talk about movies with our friends. We have at Nathan L. Betts,
Hi.
who you can find on the Twitter. He's
That's
our
right.
producer.
That's what I do.
We have Miss Professor Kimberly.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Kimberly. And then,
Hello, Mr. Lewis.
Hi. And then at the far end, we've got Thomas the Doubter. He's our guy that doubts things, like if stuff is good, you doubt it. Yeah. He doubts whether or not that's
I'm
even
realistic.
true.
I like that.
That's true.
Thomas
Yeah.
the realistic guy.
You mean realist?
Is that what we... Jeez, what are you, an English professor?
Jeez.
Back off.
I thought you were the professor here.
Yeah, well... It's funny, once you graduate, how little time you put into studying and keeping up on top of things.
Don't you
Your
teach
knowledge.
writing or something?
Something like that. Teach is such a
Sometimes.
flexible word.
I teach every day.
Yeah?
Yeah, no. I teach.
That's not what teach means.
No. Oh, okay. Then I don't teach every day. Well, I do something else.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about movies today. And we each went and saw a movie or two this last week, right? Did
Correct.
you guys do that?
Me and Thomas went and saw Captain America together.
Yay! The new one, Captain America 2.
No, we went and saw the old one.
Colin, the Winter Soldier. So,
Winter Soldier.
what? Come
was it?
on.
Tell us what
We're
you thought.
excited.
I mean, what else can you say? What the fuck else is gonna beat that this summer or all year? That was amazing.
It was pretty
Yeah.
That opening scene was awesome.
Yeah, on the boat.
That,
Yeah?
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
good. Against Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony.
Which I don't know. I had no idea that he was so real that I had no idea he was a bullshit character.
Yeah, he was a bullshit character in the comics. What'd you think about the highway fight?
The highway fight was cool. Why am I drawing a blank? Help me out, Thomas.
The elevator fight?
Yes.
The Nick Fury car chase?
I'll be honest. It was overhyped for me.
Overhyped?
Was it?
Overhyped?
Oh, okay.
Quite a bit.
So, what does that mean?
Yeah. What'd you not like?
Yeah, he didn't tell me this on the way out of the theater.
He was too drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was.
that's right. No,
He was puking on the girl in front of us.
I was actually really disappointed in the Falcon superhero.
The Falcon?
Yes. The
you
character.
do know the Falcon's the worst character
Yes,
ever. So
fact.
the fact that he wasn't the worst is a plus.
His character was fine.
Okay.
He was, I liked him. He was, likable and had depth. But he flew.
It's true.
Did his little wings kind of flap-ish?
He flew and he got chased and he flew some more.
Yeah.
And his only weapon, a couple machine gun pistols. He ran out of ammo in
He was
like 5
flew
seconds.
So you didn't care for the Falcon at the end. You were
In
just
fact,
like,
if anything, they could have maybe weaponized his wings a little bit more.
That'd have been badass.
Guns, missiles, something Iron Man-esque. He's supposed to be a rescuer, and yet he has a hard time carrying one person with these wings.
Right.
I just
That's
didn't
a good.
understand
Yeah, that's
it.
a good point. I never picked up on that.
I did not dig the computer in the basement. I realized what it was alluding to. I realized what it was alluding to, comic book wise,
sure.
but I didn't. I think they could have done it in a different way, like maybe a pre-recording than what it was.
Right.
It was a little too cheese for me.
I have to imagine that was just a recording anyway, because the guy wouldn't just blow himself up.
No, it wasn't.
It was just that's him, that's it. He killed himself. And that was the end of it all.
Yeah, well, in the comic books, he is a living computer.
Right.
So, yeah, no,
That's
that
what I'm
was,
saying.
I
I imagine he's somewhere.
he even says that that they put him in the computer, and I'm not spoiling names or anything. Obviously, we're talking about a Computer Man spoilers. And then what else? The action scenes were really good.
Yeah.
Whenever you see Captain America just kick anyone, you're just like, his back is broken.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was just the action was good. The villains, I thought they.
What'd you think of the Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier was amazing. He's like from the comic, like right out of the pages.
His middle arm was so badass.
Did you ever think that we would get a guy that looked that straight from the comic and yet still cool?
Well, and it helps though. It is a modern story, so it's not like a guy running around in purple leotards.
Right.
But no, it really cool with the Winter Soldier. It was, in fact, I'm not gonna spoil it, I guess, because people still don't know. Apparently, when you find out who the Winter Soldier was when I was in theaters, literally half the theater gasped.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like,
wow.
like looking
How do
around,
you
like,
not know this?
I think I
considering
said it last
the
time.
hints,
2 times ago.
the hints that they were dropping even at the beginning of the movie,
Right.
you're just kind of like, I was just like, well, okay, yeah, mystery solved.
Yeah. Thank God we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So
I
for
know,
people who have never picked up a comic in their life or even pay attention to that stuff, I guess they did a fairly good job of surprising people still.
So, when I said I loved it, it wasn't because it was, like every twist and turn was a surprise. Because if you think about, like, who the big villain is, the big twist villain at the end from, within S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever.
Yeah.
You know it from about 3 seconds into the movie. When he's introduced, he's like, hi, I'm a decent person. You're like, nope, he's the villain.
Yeah.
So it's not like this movie's really pushing the mystery or whatever. What amazed me about it, what made me love it, it was how cool it was. Like when he's running around the ship beating people up, that sequence alone, I was like, this is fucking badass.
Yeah,
Dude.
Like, I actually like Captain America.
The guy that worked with him but then betrayed him, the Special Forces guy, you recognize his name?
Crossbones.
Okay.
But no one else does, and it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
just need to know.
Well,
he's a
you
bad guy.
you do see, kind of alluding to perhaps something that
Yeah.
might be in the future.
Yeah.
I actually really, really hated the teaser mid-credits.
The first one?
The Avengers one?
Yes.
Tell me why you hated it.
The way
I forgot it already.
the way they made the two
Witch work?
Scarlet spoiler
Okay.
Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch.
From
Quicksilver's
Avengers.
tweaking out.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Scarlet Witch as a brain case, just vaporizing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, then you have the stereotypical Nazi
Villain.
Hydra guy. Yes!
Yes,
Twirling
I'm the
his
villain.
Hitler mustache. But, to be honest,
Hell Hydra.
actually, I liked, my friend told me about them saying that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
and how actually one of the villains is like, stop doing that. Stupid. Like,
Nice.
you look like an idiot.
That's awesome.
Well, apparently people are just doing that around town, right? Like I was watching At Midnight, the Chris Hardwick game
Yes,
show.
so
And
good.
At some point, he walks up to one of the contestants and just leans in and goes, "Hell Hydra,"
And then he
he
just
wandered
backs
off.
up.
And he didn't explain it or say
Yeah.
anything. He's just-
Awesome.
That's amazing.
That's great.
No, I didn't. I'd rather just them sitting in a cell and maybe looking up. But the fact that you've got these, they just looked. I didn't really.
They're not fully developed. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's kind of, think of some of the teasers from older Marvel movies, like the one where Coulson is standing over in New Mexico over a big pit, and there's a hammer at the bottom, and he's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Ooh, hammer!" And we're all like, "I guess Thor's hammer's cool, but it just
Who
looks
gives
like
a
a
crap?"
little plastic hammer
Yeah.
sitting there in the middle." of...
I got a little more stoked off of that than I did with Scarlet Witch. And I'm a big fan of Quicksilver, so when I saw him in that state, I was kind
Yeah.
of like, "Oh, we got two tweakers."
They do look like they're tweaked out on drugs as opposed to in control of
Yeah.
themselves. Maybe the idea, though, is that, and it does seem to be the idea, is that they were developed using the magic from Loki's staff or whatever, and they're maybe getting used to their powers.
Oh, that might be.
Their first
Or they're being controlled by Loki's staff.
yeah.
But in any case, it was, I enjoyed it, but it was overhyped for me. The action scenes were good. Character development was fine.
I don't think there's going to be a movie this year that you'll like then, in my opinion.
See,
You
and
didn't
I,
like that.
I agree with that. After seeing Cap 2, I came out and then I watched the preview for Spider-Man 2, and I was like,
Ninja
fuck
Turtles
Spider-Man 2.
is,
Ninja Turtles.
You
gonna
have hope
eat
for
my
Ninja
shit.
Turtles.
No.
Wow. Okay, we gotta.
No.
we gotta cut you loose, Tommy.
The action scenes are really well done, especially since we're dealing with pretty much just extra strong humans. Like,
Yeah.
you're not seeing flying or lasers or combat like that. So you're seeing a lot of really cool hand-to-hand stuff, like top notch.
God,
Like,
yeah,
I'll admit,
just
I've never.
annihilating
Top-notch.
each other.
Listen, when Winter Soldier and Cap are fighting and like Winter Soldier switching knives between hands,
Oh,
it's
God.
so cool.
I was like,
And then he stands
That's
into the van
amazing.
right beside the, and
And
then
runs the knife
all
down the
night.
way
I'm
down.
like, what?
yeah,
so cool.
like that fight sequence. I was
Yeah.
just impressed with how
Yeah.
intense
In
it was.
fact, I honestly wish there was more Winter Soldier in that movie.
Yeah,
he
I
was
could've
kind of,
taken
he was a
20
little,
minutes
it took a while for him to kind of get going, and
Yeah.
There's some good twists. The Nick Fury stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
I love the car chase with Nick Fury.
That was
you
really
know?
awesome.
When he has that gun, he's just shooting. Out
I
the
gotta
window.
say, you screwed us all, Thomas, with that fucking America. Fuck yeah! I was-
He's running through the
Didn't
wall.
you laugh
Did
at
you
so
see it?
yes, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, god damn it,
We
Thomas.
We laughed. We liked it.
I leaned over to because Amy didn't see that. I leaned over to the wife, and when that scene come on, I just whispered to her, "America, fuck yeah!" And she started giggling too. She thought it was great.
no, it was, and it was. I did like the whole the morality system as far as Hydra isn't so just evil.
Right. They have
And-
a plan that they think will make the world better.
Well, and what the whole idea almost was kind of built upon what America thought they were doing was right. It was just,
Hydra's plan was a little more Hitler-ish, though.
a little
well,
bit,
it was
yeah.
a little more random.
Yeah.
He
A little more
wasn't
kill
targeting
people.
one race, but
Or
no,
is
what
it
I mean,
Marxist? One of the two.
yeah. But as far as they're quote unquote trying to maintain peace. They're
Sure.
just willing to make the sacrifice. You could say the exact same thing about sacrificing freedom for safety or peace. It's
Yeah.
like
I think that's exactly what the argument is.
One's willing to do more than the other,
Yeah.
or sacrifice more than the other.
Right. So at the beginning, Nick Fury says, to keep everyone safe, we have to sacrifice some freedoms. And Captain America's like, no, freedom's more important than safety.
Yeah.
And so then that's the theme of the movie, right?
And punishing for people after a crime. We can't stop everything.
Right.
Then you kind of create something you're trying to stop or
Right.
avoid.
You become the thing.
Yeah.
that-
So
Yeah.
it was good though. It was a very good movie.
In comparison to the other Marvel movies, which ones do you like better? Do you think Avengers is better?
I think Avengers is better. This movie was a little overhyped, and I did have the complaints. I don't like useless heroes. So when Falcon was flying around, mind you, I wouldn't have minded if he was in the film, but just not doing his superhero thing. So the beginning with him is hilarious.
I thought,
Yeah.
to be honest,
To your
I thought
left.
they did as
Or
good
to
a
the left.
job
Don't
with
say it.
Falcon as
Don't
you
you say
could do, because I really felt like my experience with the Falcon in the comics is that he's worthless.
He's worthless.
But then again, I always thought Captain America was basically worthless.
I thought so,
he was
too.
A goody two shoes crap character.
Although,
And so-
and I know this is comics and not movies. Lately in the comics, they've actually turned him into a scientist, Falcon.
oh, okay.
So he's more of a Iron Man, inventor, tinkerer type. So he can sneak in, hack, or do stuff like that.
I think the movies have had a strangely good impact on the comics, because Iron Man used to be just terrible to read.
You don't like the rocket skates or the
No, the old Iron Mans are so bad, and then they kind of started turning him into a real scientist and an interesting futurist thinker and so forth.
Well, you notice in the comics that the best stories, because the superhero gimmicks were so cheesy, were the stories where they're down. Demon in a Bottle for Iron Man, where he's having his alcoholism. Those are why the stories are so famous. Is it actually focuses on the character and real life flaws.
Then again,
Why
they did that
Spider-Man's-
with Iron Man 3, and you guys all hated it. Because
Iron Man 2.
2 was a piece of shit.
Well, that's when he was.
That's my least favorite of all
Watermelon shooting drunk at his party in his Iron Man suit.
That was such a bad sequence. Oh, don't remind me. Okay, so enough of the cat.
Forgot about
Now, you
that.
saw a few other movies,
Yeah,
Nathan.
at home I watched I watched one that I got in the mail.
What was that?
I got Now You See Me in the mail.
Oh,
Okay.
with Jesse Eisenberg as
Yeah.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Can you see it? Can you see it after watching that?
I cannot. I actually didn't enjoy this movie that much.
Did you think of the card? Did you do it? Remember they do a trick
Actually-
and then they show it up on the building?
Actually, I think I did think of that card.
we did too. We did too.
And
They
It's a
make you
magic
do
trick.
it. It's a
Is it
magic trick.
I think, honestly, I
It's
think
fucking
it's
magic, guys.
No, I think it's because you see that one for a see
Second.
you longer.
It's
No.
called magic.
It's
Okay.
magic.
I'll
It's
show you guys a
magic.
video after.
Did you like Dave Franco?
I love
Did
Dave
you love
Franco.
Dave Franco?
I love Dave Franco.
Doing kitchen
He's so
parkour.
great. Yeah, he's
so
pretty
cool.
great.
Okay, so you were down on Now You See Me. What else did you see?
I saw Bad Milo.
And?
We spoke of this
Okay.
about.
We will never speak of
and
this
we'll
again.
never talk of it again. We talked about this one about 6 weeks ago. We were still at the other studio still.
That's Ken Marino's
yeah,
movie.
and we
Nice.
watched. I think we watched a trailer for it.
Okay, yeah.
It popped up on Netflix,
Mhm.
and I had just enough time to watch a movie before you guys showed up, so I popped it on real quick and watched it. And it was for a movie about what it's about, and basically
Poop?
The Netflix description of it says that a man is so stressed out that something starts growing inside him. It doesn't say
this
what.
is the poop,
The poop
creature
monster,
inside him. Yeah.
Basically, it turns out
Yeah.
it's not poop. It's his. Basically, it's part of him. It's his dark side. Basically,
okay.
it kind of separates out, and they kind of actually
It just happens
use.
to be poop.
No, it does. It's actually not poop at all.
comes out of his butt,
It's actually
but
a
it's not
creature that
poop.
comes out of his anus, but it's not poop. But you kind of get the
You know,
idea.
like they do.
You know,
Right,
like
you know,
it happens.
But apparently, they kind of go back to really, really old mythology, and there's a picture of a dude bent over with a dragon coming out of his ass or whatever, and they kind of base it off of that or whatever. And he's like,
Sure.
basically, this is all of the evil things and all of the bad things you wish you could do to other people, or when something bad happens to you, this is kind of manifested into a being. All the things you wish you can do but can't, this little being will do. And you're so stressed out, it's manifested itself into a creature, into a being, and the only way it can either come out one way or the other, and he's taken the easier path. So
is it worth watching?
It is definitely worth watching.
Oh.
I laughed out loud about 4 times.
Wow, that's
Most of the references were ass references, like ass jokes,
Love
basically.
me some ass jokes.
But they're so
Yeah,
well
not
placed. They're so well placed though, because like that's what the movie's about. So you think there's just gonna be ass joke after ass joke after ass joke, but there's like 3 of them, and they're perfectly placed. And the dude that's helping him is like this kind of quack hypnotherapist, and I don't know what the guy's name is, but you'd immediately recognize him. He plays a lot of bad guys in movies and whatnot. You'd immediately recognize him, and he's hilarious. He's really great, and he's helping him explain what this thing is.
Well, I'm excited to hear that because I was
Stephen Root plays his dad.
I like Stephen Root.
hippie pot smoking dad.
I wasn't sure. I love Ken Marino, and I hope that everything he does is fun. You know,
they played the whole thing as serious as you can take it, and everybody took it. The as far as like down to the soundtrack. It plays like a legitimate movie about this thing that comes out of this dude's ass. And Patrick Warburton is his dick boss. He's great.
Oh, I like
What
Dick bosses.
did you say you got this on disc?
No, this is
it's
on
on
Watch
Watch
Instant.
Oh.
It just recently
Just
came
popped
on.
up like a week ago.
Yeah, so we'll have to go check that out.
I thought it was worth
Maybe
watching.
homework sometime.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be worth signing as homework. It was really, really funny.
What about your last movie, Real Steel? Did you get that on Netflix?
Yeah, that's available through disc.
Just through disc.
And I watched it again. I had watched it in the theater, and I just wanted to see if it was if I remembered it correctly. And we both fell asleep, so and sent it back. We were like,
so you did remember it correctly.
I did remember.
Oh yeah, this movie's
Hugh Jackman, though. Come
Rock'em
on.
Sock'em Robots. I liked it to the point where I don't know. I liked it to the point where I'm like, all right, that's about as far as they can take this. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Was it too, I don't know, like sappy or
Little-
overkill with
a
the
little
son? Like with
sentimental, yeah.
family kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff? Because, see, I'm not into families.
Yeah, it was a little.
Jeez.
It was pretty. Like there's a good
Cold as
20-minute
I
section.
thought.
Yeah.
There's too many shows
It's
about
just that
a
I'm-
dad getting.
Yeah, like let's let this
Connecting
movie
with his
teach a
son.
child
Like-
how
Seen
a
that a
family how to
million
Like
times.
in like the new Transformers movie.
Hey,
Hey,
This
I think
Transformer's
I
gonna
found
put you
us
through
a
college.
Transformer.
We've got a Transformer.
We found us a Transformer.
We have to go see Transformers 4 together.
yeah.
Okay,
Like, oh my
I'm there.
God.
I'll do that.
That's gonna be the best.
Dinobots.
Yeah, I'll definitely go see that with you guys.
It's all a hunk of junk.
It's gonna put you through college.
So, speaking of hunks of junk, we saw a movie called Transcendence
Ooh.
with Johnny
Oh, now
Depp.
that was a good segue.
No, that movie was. It was the big movie. They expected it to be the big opener for this weekend. Instead, Captain America for like the 3rd week straight stayed in #1,
Yeah.
and probably because of you two.
Rightfully so.
Because of us. Yeah, Captain America.
And then it was like Rio 2 and then something else. But Transcendence opened at like 4th place. It cost
Yeah.
over $100 million just to make. That's not including all the marketing that cost $50 million more.
Is that 2 in a row for Johnny
It's
Depp?
4 in a row.
4 sneakers in a row?
He's done.
Sneakers.
He's got a lot of sneakers.
I meant stinkers. I think sneakers came out.
He did
4 stinkers.
Lone Ranger was a bomb.
Yeah.
Dark Shadows
That's
was a bomb.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that was.
I saw.
It's made some bad
I saw
ones.
5 minutes of that on the television at my friend's house the other
It's
day. I was
so
like, "How the
bad.
fuck did this get made? This is horseshit."
So Transcendence has a lot of problems. One of the biggest problems is
The same plot line was in
I'm
just
sorry,
in Captain
I
America.
have to remember my prediction. Did any of them come?
what was your
Tell
prediction?
Tell us.
The ending, as far as her saying you're not you anymore, and then like the last
You
second
can't be
he,
God.
or
All
yeah,
that.
the last second he's like okay, and then switches around, or I can't remember. We had a
Of
heated
course,
discussion.
that's exactly the ending. Spoiler. But
Spoiler.
she basically, says to him, you've gone too far. Why are you doing this? And he says, like, I've done it all for you.
Well,
and then she
there's
goes,
a little
but
bit
not
more-
this way. And then
there's
he's like,
more-
fine. And he just turns himself off.
There's a little bit more nuance to that because
Is
she
there?
realizes
Piece of
I'm not
shit.
standing up for it.
Piece
I'm
of
just saying
shit.
what he's doing is actually her vision, and there's a realization on everyone's part that what he's doing in this world, trying to save everyone, trying to prevent global warming from taking over the planet, being all this stuff, is her. And so his person is trying to enact everything she's ever wanted in life, and then she realizes what it really looks like and what
What it
actually
takes.
is happening to the world. And she says you need to stop because she's essentially stopping her dream and her idea. And he says, okay. But it's kind of at the end, you're like, really? And then
But
they just
can
kind
I
of like
make a
die
comment
together.
here?
And they die
Here's
together.
why I hate this. I hated it so much. I was
We
so
hated
angry.
It was
She
terrible.
says, I want to save the world. So then he gets put into a computer and he develops nanotechnology and he starts saving the world. He starts fixing the
Literally,
polar ice
yeah.
caps. He starts fixing all the
Yeah.
rainforest.
He fixes people.
From his
He
computer?
fixes
He fixes people. He
With
gives
his
them
technology.
eyesight. He gives them mobility if they are in a wheelchair.
So there's this
he's-
blind guy.
Yeah.
Completely blind. He goes to see him. He gets some injections. He can see for the first time in his entire life.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is amazing. You've given me something that I've never had.
And it's all for free.
And so, all for free.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the heroes, the scientists like Morgan Freeman and Paul Bettany and the whatever, are like, this is unnatural. This is not the way things should be. So at the end, they convince him to turn himself off and erase himself. And so Johnny Depp goes away and he's done. And then cut to the blind guy who's blind again because
Aw.
all the technology's turned off. And he's
You
like,
realize
I'm
that the
blind
bad
again for
guys-
life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck you, good guys, because all
Yeah.
you did is bring the world back to its old shitty place. That's not a good answer.
Right.
And he never hurt anyone. There's this huge shootout at the end where their underground like lab is.
Well,
And he doesn't hurt anyone.
Doesn't
They're
hurt
the
him.
ones firing missiles.
that's
they kill,
crazy because
they
you see in the
kill
preview,
people.
it's just like they make
Yeah.
him look
He
really
seems
He's not
nefarious.
the bad guy. He's
Yeah.
actually the good guy the whole time, and all he does is good things, and all she wants is good things. And then we find out the bad guys are the ones that are trying to stop this advancement, this science understanding, and this growth.
But the movie
you know?
never admits that.
It doesn't admit we
that
saw
those guys,
it.
like
yeah,
Kim and I discussed
we
it
were
later
like,
and
yeah.
said, actually, I think Johnny Depp
Yeah.
is the good guy and all the other people were the bad guys.
Yeah.
But the movie's like, thank God they managed to stop that computer from taking over, or everyone would have lived forever happily. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
it
there's
was
this-
a terrible
There's
message
this
at the end.
anti-science
Terrible.
message,
Yeah.
which is just like,
We hate that.
hey, folks.
Stay in the
don't-
dark ages.
Stay there-
Don't.
yeah, don't play God. That's God's job. If God wants you blind, you should be blind. Don't try and fix it. That's just playing
Yeah.
God. And I'm like, you know, like,
Well,
and these same people that say this stuff are all wearing glasses. You know what I mean? Like, nobody seems to realize that technology is already all around us
Right.
and it's making our lives better.
they just don't like the new technology because
Yeah,
it's scary.
new technology
and
scares
weird.
us. Look at everybody spending all their time on Facebook. That's where we're going. Is everyone will be just connected
Yeah.
on Facebook and it'll be shitty. And what about playing out in the yard? Yeah. Meanwhile, we're melting the polar ice caps and everybody's gonna die in a giant. You know, but no. I just get so frustrated, and all these scientists
just-
Worrying
spend
about the
whole
wrong
time,
things.
Well,
The whole time, they're the stupidest scientists. They're supposed to be the
also-
smartest people on the planet, and all they say is
Yeah.
stupid stuff constantly.
No, I also want to comment on the structure. The film starts off after everything has happened.
Oh yeah.
and we
that's
start
bad.
off and it's like 5 years earlier, but we
Mhm.
see this like just scape this of just like nothing. There's
That's
no
true.
electricity, there's no technology, there's no people are using laptop or little keyboards as door stops. People are
That's the opening scene.
The opening scene is there is no technology, there's no energy, there's no internet, nothing. And then they're like 5 years earlier and I'm like, you just ruined everything.
Yeah,
If
so
I even cared about
There's
what
no
happened,
surprise
there's
that Johnny
no
Depp is going to
build-up.
turn himself off.
Because we
Because
know
we've
what
seen
happens.
it. We already know he turns himself off.
And
You,
he's the
yeah, you
only
told
one
us
that
what
can
the
do
opening
it.
5 seconds. Great.
I was just furious. I was
Nice.
like, really? Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
and all the good guys, supposedly good guys, were like, thank heavens he turned himself off or things could have gotten really bad. But now we have no power internet. I guess we'll just have to get to know each other again, face to face. And I'm like, meanwhile, all the people in hospitals died because there's no power to keep those running.
And to be honest, there's this
whatever.
end scene where I would have been, if I were the lady in the thing, which she wasn't really that fantastic anyway. And Johnny Depp's voice was blech.
Oh, Johnny Depp's...
But he actually
stick of
fabricates a body into Johnny Depp at the very end. He's so advanced
Using
and so
his
smart.
nanotechnology.
He does what now?
He fabricates his body, so he's actually a human again.
Yeah, he
he's not
regrows
just in the
himself.
computer system. He regrows his body and then puts his own voice and everything into this body, and he communicates using the body.
Wow.
And all she wanted was to have her husband back again. And I'm thinking, that Johnny Depp looks pretty much like my Johnny Depp, so I'm going to be okay with this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I swear to God, if 5 years when
Well,
you
if
were
it's-
gone,
if-
I would want you. If you showed up like this, I'd be like, yes,
Well,
we're keeping it.
As
We're
long
done.
as long
Don't
as
shut off.
his consciousness is in it.
Yes,
right?
he is, though. His consciousness
because
is.
otherwise,
But his soul wasn't in it.
Oh, fuck soul. Are you kidding? This
That's
is-
what the
oh.
movie teaches us is you can't just make a copy of someone because it's missing that essential spark that makes them who they
No.
really are.
And she still shut him off. Told him to shut down.
Yeah, and even at the very end when
I
she
would've
tells
been
him to
like,
shut down,
nope,
he
Nat
says
doesn't
something and
believe-
she goes, "It really is you, isn't it?"
She
he goes,
does.
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay," turns off anyway.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God, dude.
He-
couldn't you have grown a
Jesus.
bigger? I don't know. It's-
I mean, I don't have to be perfectly the same, right? I mean, we can enhance a little bit bigger chest, a little bit bigger.
She takes one look at his wiener. You can just turn it off.
Go ahead and go back.
wait, before you turn. Yeah, turn it off.
Yeah, just shut
You
it down.
guys.
Okay, so I hated it. I was just frustrated the whole time. I thought Johnny Depp's
Yeah.
performance was miserable, and I think it's a real
It looks
choice on his
miserable.
point.
And
his
all
part.
of the supporting characters were wasted. We saw these
Yeah.
big actors, good actors. Cillian Murphy showed up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's
Oh
great.
yeah.
Not in this
five
movie.
lines. He just stood on a freaking
He
roof and
stands
was
around,
like,
yeah,
"Hey, hey."
What
And I'm
what
like,
happened?
Come on. There were all these parts that were wasted.
Yeah, it's-
just underdeveloped.
It's a poorly written script, and I don't know
The
why
message
you
is bad
sink-
and the ending is
yeah.
worse.
They sunk $100 million into a movie that
Suck it.
Made 10.
it made 10, and it won't make any more because
That
word
was
of
a
mouth
sneaker.
will all be negative. I've talked to a few people who saw it, and they were like, "Yeah, it was bad."
Okay.
Now we did see another movie.
Yeah.
We watched a
did.
short documentary.
By Werner Herzog.
Nice.
Herzog.
1998?
Nice.
97, 98?
It said 98 on the copyright, but
Okay.
nah.
It's called Little Dieter Needs to Fly. You heard of that? It's a true story about a guy named Dieter.
Thank you. Good one, Lou.
He flew for the Navy. He flew jets for the Navy during the Vietnam War. He was shot down and was kept in a camp
Laos.
in Laos
Ooh.
for about 6 months before he escaped. And he escaped in a pretty harrowing way and barely got rescued. And so
By
he just
accident, essentially
accident.
got rescued by
and
the
so the
US.
story, they go back to the
Wow.
actual like areas, and he kind of
The-
walks you through where he
yeah.
was, and they get like young Vietnamese or Laotian
to like
Laotians
reenact things.
to
in some
reenact
really
things.
Oh,
So they have these like
interesting ways,
young
yeah.
actors tying him up, and
And they
he's
had-
marching through the woods,
yeah.
the jungle. It's really a weird way to do a documentary,
It
but
is.
it was
Well, it's
kinda
Herzog,
good.
I think. I think
Yeah,
he's a little
Herzog.
quirky, and you have him doing his classic voiceover, explaining things along the way, and
It's the
kind
same
of
dude
filling
that
in
did
the gaps.
the bear guy, right?
Yeah.
Grizzly Man.
Yes.
If you haven't seen a Werner Herzog documentary, you have
Yeah.
to. There's nothing greater in this world than listening to him talk.
Yes.
I first realized that things were not quite the way they seemed.
He's
That
got
that was pretty good.
That's pretty good,
That's
right?
pretty good.
He's just got that voice that I could just listen to for an hour.
Yeah, I want him to narrate my life.
I want him
Nice.
to
Like,
narrate
I just want to hear it.
everything.
I just want to hear it.
But
as
it's
I
a
walk around.
decent movie, and I actually would recommend. I think the trick would be to watch this movie
Yeah.
and then do a double feature and immediately follow it up with a movie called Rescue,
Rescue
Dawn,
Dawn.
starring
Christian,
Christian
Bale
Bale.
and Steve
Oh, is that
Zahn.
who it's based off of?
Yes, that's the fiction version that he made 6 years later.
Werner Herzog, actually, 8 years later,
later?
he made it into a fictional movie.
He was
it's the same story.
so
It's the same
interested in that
characters.
story and that
Yeah.
documentary that he
Yeah, that was a good movie.
You saw
recreated.
Rescue Dawn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the films we talk about.
Was,
Christian Bale going to
uh,
the extreme.
The Christian Bale eating those bugs? Was that
Probably.
him really eating the bugs?
Oh,
'Cause it
Probably.
looks-
Yeah.
He's sitting there eating maggots out of a bowl, and you're just like,
That's what
what
he
he
describes
said.
that
He
in.
just, yeah,
He
Yeah.
describes it
And
in the.
eating
I forget how much.
rancid meat.
How much
with
did he?
maggots.
How much weight did he lose for that?
So much.
Well, in real life, Dieter Dangler got down to like 85 pounds, I think, when they rescued him.
Wow.
Yeah, I
And that
don't
was
think he
only
that
6
light.
months, and he was there in the camp with several other people who'd been there for at least 2.5 years.
Christian Bale got down to, I think, like 140 for the movie.
That's still. He's a tall dude, isn't he?
He's
like
a big
6'4"?
guy. Well, and then he went right back up to 220 for Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he's ridiculous, his ups and downs. But the movie's good, and I think it's interesting because they're
short.
both directed by the
Yeah.
same guy.
Seven-
Werner Herzog makes both.
Yeah, but 74 minutes, it gets in. We see actual footage from the war. We see him going to all these particular places, talking about it. He goes on the carrier. He shows us, we have plane footage of his plane crashed. He takes us to his house, and we actually have a really great opening in which he talks about opening doors and closing doors being very important to him. And then
food.
also food.
Yeah.
And then we start off with that, and we kind of think he's kind of odd or strange, or we think he has a tick. And he might, because when you are captive, you're handcuffed and your feet are in blocks all night, and you can't escape, and you're pretty sure you're going to die of starvation and probably...
Or bullets.
Or bullets.
Yeah, or machetes.
Being free and having your space and having open doors and being able to control your life and eating food is probably going to influence the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I'd say so.
It was good. We had a really good time with it.
It's good. Again, you should probably watch all of Werner Herzog's documentaries.
Anything you can watch.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting, journey to try to see how something's handled on a documentary side and then see the same story.
I
as
say
the
do a
fiction.
double-header. It was really cool.
It might be interesting. So you've seen it. You've seen Rescue Dawn.
Yeah, and it was good. I enjoyed it. It was it was actually shocking seeing
and that's
him
true.
go through that process, and it as far as there's a lot of movies where you see someone in prison and you're kind of like, it doesn't seem that bad, but then you watch a movie like this and you're like, oh god, that is
Well, the saddest thing that he talked about, and he emphasized it, but he escaped and was with one of his friends. They found, because they ran off without any shoes, and they tried to look for their shoes, and they're running around in the jungle with nothing on their feet
Oh, no.
for as long as they did until the plane found them. But they had the sole of a sneaker,
One sole of a
that they
sneaker.
would trade off wearing on one of their
on different feet,
Feet.
just to try and
Just to walk
save
through.
themselves a
Yeah.
little bit
one
of pain.
sole of a sneaker, and it just makes you want to cry.
Yeah,
It's just
that's-
the worst.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, so
Okay, so
Good
that was
stuff.
fun. But okay, check it
Yeah.
out. What news do we have for today?
I just found one, but it's going to take us a while to get through it. I think it'll be worth kind of talking a little bit about each one. This is something my wife sent me just a little bit earlier today, actually. It's 31 upcoming movies that are either reboots or remakes that are completely unnecessary, according to this website.
Let's
which
look
is
at this list and see if we agree.
Online. So these are all projects that are either in post, or at least have a green light on them. So these
Okay.
are all happening, supposedly. Some of them are still rumored, but most of these are actually going to happen. First one is Annie, which we already know Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx, and Rose Byrne is going to be in, because we have a picture of them performing together right here in front of us. I'm not
Jamie
really
Foxx, right?
sure why.
What's the deal? Like, am I the only person who's not a Jamie Foxx fan?
I don't like him.
Yeah,
I don't like him either.
Jamie Foxx as Daddy War. I don't know.
I know, Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, I say no, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big one on the original Annie, so
I
I don't.
I don't really know why this needed to be made.
You excited?
no, I just saw. Well, I saw the Annie Jr. production at the Civic Theater this last summer, and that was kind of the first time I think I'd seen Annie. To be
I've
honest,
never seen it,
I didn't
don't
know
care
the
to see
story
it.
at all,
No, I don't
and
care.
I was like, "Oh,
I just
okay."
know
I'm
for some
done.
reason I know.
I'm
yeah,
done with it. You
I
know?
know the.
I
And it wasn't because
Daddy
they did
Warbucks
a bad
is all I know.
performance.
Yeah.
It was
I don't
just because
remember
I
it.
don't think I.
Very well.
Like it.
I saw it when I was younger.
Well, anything with Cameron Diaz is going to be good.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
You know
Next,
that's
what's the
gonna be
next
awesome.
remake?
The Crow is going to be Stephen Norrington is calling it a reinvention, which is just a fancy name
Stop
for a reboot.
making cult classics remakes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a sound judgment. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Was The Crow ever that?
I enjoy it
Favorite.
for
It's
what
fine.
it was.
I thought it
You
was.
told me to watch it.
It was.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's definitely. It's like a quintessential '90s. Like if you want to know what the entire '90s was about, watch The Crow. You'll see it all.
So
think so?
rebooting it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
It won't. In 2016 or whenever they get around to this, it won't. It will not work.
Okay.
It just
Yeah.
won't.
Well,
Okay.
and then
You won't be able to
yeah.
capture what
You've
they
got-
captured there.
You've got the whole legend too
Mhm.
behind
What
Lee
happened and-
dying on
Brandon
set.
Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think that one will work. I will probably pass or at most Redbox that.
Okay.
If it comes to pass. Flight of the Navigator is
Oh.
rumored to be remade.
Wow. I liked that movie when I was younger.
Right.
Gosh.
But if you revisit it as an adult, I don't know
No,
if you're going to
I just
enjoy
remember
it.
all the little aliens on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ship, and it was kind of
like
fun.
my sister's favorite.
I wanted
movie.
one of those little guys that he held all the time or whatever.
I don't think I even saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I've never seen it either.
It's
But
kind
my,
of the wrong age for me.
yeah, my wife said that she used to watch it all the time, and she's
I
like,
think
I
you're
have
too
no
old for
idea
Too
why
old.
this would need to be remade.
I don't know. It could be fun.
Okay.
If it's done right, maybe.
But they say
Maybe.
cult classic.
Yeah.
You say don't touch it.
That's right.
It's
All
not
right.
a cult classic, though.
Well,
Yeah.
according to this website, it's a cult classic
Well,
from
they're
our childhood.
wrong.
Godzilla, which is in theaters like next week.
I'm so excited for that.
Ooh,
that
according to
the new-
trailer.
yeah.
Oh
According
my
to
God.
E! Online, there is no need for this to be remade. I think that you could probably remake this for
You know
the
what?
next 50 years and be all right. Though.
I'm going to say there is a need for it to be remade because the last version of it, the Matthew Broderick one, was such a stinker that it's
Yeah.
left a really bad taste in all our mouths. And
Yeah.
I think
that
if
needed to
you
be
can
cleansed.
remake it in a way that's good,
Yeah.
then,
Well-
then that'd be great.
Yeah.
Starting good
Yeah.
right off the bat, starting off with Cranston, you're off to a good start.
Well, and I
Yeah.
do like how, even though you only get bits and pieces, which is good, but they looks like it's a more traditional Godzilla look
Mhm.
as far as
Yeah,
the
from what
shape,
you're-
the shape of his face
Yeah.
and the
Cool.
spikes on his back.
And it
or
just
whatever.
looks scary and intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't think that we
And
necessarily
Cranston's
get that.
crying a
And
lot.
I've actually never watched a full Godzilla movie yet.
Don't.
I've watched the one with Matthew Broderick on TV for about 20 minutes. I was like, well, this is horseshit.
Yeah, that
Clicked
movie
it.
was bad.
This is
I saw the
Matthew
scene where
Broderick.
all of its babies were sitting around and they were
Yeah.
trying to
The,
decide.
the
Oh.
Velociraptors.
the
Yeah.
hatching section.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's what I-
mistake.
that's
Okay,
so-
a lot of bad things.
I
We're in
say
his
thumbs
mouth.
up.
Hit the gas. We're in his mouth. So stupid. Okay, next.
Next one, Legend of Conan. So apparently, the Game of Thrones star Jason Momoa. That version, apparently, that wasn't bad enough. They have to go to Legend.
Is
to
Legend
make
of
sure.
Conan going to include Jason Momoa as the new Conan?
I don't know.
I mean, he was. I really wanted to like 2011's Conan, and I like Jason Momoa, but boy, it was a poorly made movie.
So do you think he could
I think
be a
he
good
could
Conan?
be a good Conan, but I think that last movie with him was bad.
I didn't
it was
watch
just
it.
bad.
I skipped it too.
And it wasn't his acting that made it bad. It was just poorly put together on a lot of levels.
Well,
Special
maybe-
effects, story,
Maybe if they get a different director,
maybe,
producer?
and a better screenwriter. Maybe. I'll go because I'm a Conan nut. I love Conan the Barbarian the most.
You'd go insane if you saw my dad's comic book collection, all the Conan comics.
Hey, some of those Conan comics are great.
They're fantastic.
I've read quite a few.
I
They're-
think I like them probably more than any of the other Marvel comics out of his collection, especially during the
old ones.
70s.
Yeah, back when superhero comics were all crap, and
Yeah.
Conan were actually based on Conan stories,
Yes.
like Robert E.
Yep.
Howard Conan stories. So they're kind of
Yeah,
good.
They were actually dirty for the time, like as far as like they're
Girls in
real.
bikinis.
gritty and whatnot.
Well, yeah, and the lines. He wasn't a goody two shoes.
Right,
He's
he-
like a barbarian.
right.
Never met the guy, but I'm already not creepily in love with your dad. I think that's awesome. My dad read the Bible his entire life. So
that's awesome.
My dad's
was into religion, but he was into comics when he was a kid.
That's
So he's
cool.
been collecting them since.
I think the Bible's
The
too
60s.
violent for my kids. I'll
Yeah.
just stick with Conan. Okay, so what else?
Okay, next we've got Gremlins rumored to be remade.
Aw.
Yeah, I don't know
Maybe.
because they'll
Are they
they'll
just
CGI them
CG?
though, and
Yeah.
they'll lose that special.
What if
Yeah.
they get what's his face Hellboy director?
Oh.
Okay, I'll watch
I
that.
was gonna say that's the only person I can really think
Hellboy
of.
director.
Uh,
I'm not thinking of it.
Del Toro.
Del Toro.
Yeah.
Del
No.
Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo.
I always pronounce his name wrong, so I don't
Guillermo.
like saying it.
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, the
Guillermo.
dude that did Pacific Rim Job.
Yes.
Okay, I know that one.
I have a secret
Aw,
sword.
They're gonna
Oh.
redo it.
There's a rumor. I think
It's-
this one is still rumored.
Aw.
Yeah, this one's still rumored that
So-
it will be redone.
They're saying no to the reboot, but I'm gonna say, okay. I think the made-for-TV It is actually a really shitty show. It's really poorly, very bad production. I mean, it's made for TV. Like NBC gave it $40 and made it. The thing is,
They spent the most on his
Tim
costume.
Curry as the clown Pennywise is so good.
Yeah,
But
it's 'cause
Tim
Tim
Curry
Curry's
is a
great.
fucking amazing actor.
Yeah.
He's so good. I mean, have you seen what is it called, Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Oh God.
Why did you have to use that though?
Because he's
Why?
cool. Or
He's fantastic.
Legend.
Cause I was
Look at
scarred
Legend.
as a child.
Okay,
Wow.
let me do a different Tim Curry. Legend.
How do I?
Have you seen Legend with Tom Cruise?
You know.
Three Musketeers.
Legend is the worst movie, except the
terrible.
demon monster is so cool.
Yeah, he's terrifying.
Type in Legend Tim Curry into the Googles.
He was scary looking back
He
then.
looks great.
Yeah.
Legend Tim Curry. Yeah. Or Tim Curry.
Come on, the Cardinal and Three Musketeers. How cool is that?
Whoa.
Yeah, look at just go to the first box up there. Oh no, actually go back. That one's pretty good though. Go to the one right below it.
This
No, above. Yeah. Look at those
Wow.
horns. Tell me
Good
that's not
Lord.
the coolest. He
Those are
just-
like 5 feet long.
he looks amazing in that movie. That movie's
Yeah.
terrible, by the way. Just like every movie with Tim Curry's terrible, except for Tim Curry's awesome. Anyway,
Yeah.
he looks great. Right?
Badass.
So you say it possible
I say it maybe could stand a redo.
because it's not that good to begin with. Yeah.
Well, part of the problem with it, the book is great for the first 800 pages, but the last
Holy shit.
150 pages are just so bad. It falls apart so badly. I just don't know if you can fix it, you know, because the book it's kind of booby trapped. Stephen King sets up this story, and then he gets to the end, and he's basically painted himself into a corner where there's no way for the heroes to win. And so they pull some bullshit out that they've already said earlier on in the show. You can't just wish the monster away. You can't close your eyes and wish him away because it's real. And they get to the end and they kind of close their eyes and wish it away. And I'm like, no, it's bad. But it's because Stephen King didn't have a
Screwed-
solution.
yeah, he screwed it up.
himself, and he didn't go back and fix it.
yeah, it's mostly probably him getting blocked or whatever.
Yeah. He doesn't think of his endings when he starts writing. He just starts writing, and he's done that his whole career.
Yeah.
And a lot of his endings fall flat because of it.
Tim Curry's supposed to be the voice of the animated Joker in the 90s
Cool.
Batman cartoon.
Cool.
But he was like, nope.
And they got
They're like, I guess let's get that guy who played Luke Skywalker.
Mark
Or
Hamill,
Mark
I
Hamill
guess.
does a good
You
job.
know, he does an amazing
Yeah,
job.
He does a
Right.
good job.
No, yeah.
Okay, what's the
I
next
actually don't
reboot?
think it can do anybody better than that. They're going to redo Overboard.
Seriously?
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't give a
why?
shit.
Kurt
Overboard was
Russell
shitty.
and
We just our
Goldie Hawn.
that popped up on the television the other day, and we watched it, and I was like, I remember really liking this movie, thinking it was really funny. and it
I was gonna
sucks.
say you think of it about it now, and that's pretty sick. Like what happens?
Yeah.
Oh, what happens in the movie?
How it goes down, like that is kind of effed up.
It's
Like,
pretty
I
bad.
think that's highly illegal, is it not? I think
Yeah.
that's technically kidnapping, is it
Yeah,
not?
there's some definitely
I mean, they
questionable
Actually
behavior.
do it, like there's some
old
kinda-
movies.
Yeah, they do stuff.
Old movies, they're like, hey, have you seen the new romantic comedy where the hero rapes that lady a lot until they're in love? Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah. He
That
tells
used to
it's
just
kind
be
of
a thing.
Their whole thing's based off a lie. It's great.
Yeah, super.
They fall in love at the end. It's awesome.
It all works out.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Drop Dead Fred.
Never saw it.
No idea why this would need a remake. It didn't need to be made in the first place.
I've not
It's
seen it, I guess.
bullshit.
It's not funny.
It is awful. It's this fictional dude that she can like conjure up, and when she wants him to go away, she literally says "Drop Dead Fred," and he goes away. It's fucking
He's a magical troublemaker.
No, that's stupid.
She's
yeah,
cute.
Pass.
it's bad.
yeah, it's terrible.
Is she cute at least?
No, that's the next bummer part about
That's the
that
best
is-
picture.
Yeah, that's actually the movie cover.
What was
I believe.
her name? Who is that?
I
Is that
don't-
like Jennifer Connelly?
I don't remember
Winona
who it
Ryder?
was.
It doesn't matter. Don't
No.
Don't even spend 3 seconds looking it up.
They're going to redo Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, apparently.
Finally.
Yay! Because that was an awesome in the 90s. I
More family
loved that
stuff.
movie. I loved that movie
Why
as a
are-
13-year-old.
We all know how Kim loves family stuff.
Yeah,
That's true.
Baloney.
Baloney.
Oh
Come
no.
on, writing on ants.
Bologna.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. They baited it with an Oreo cookie. Come on.
What about
Yeah.
the scorpion? How scary was
Yeah,
that?
that was
The scorpion
They
was
slept in a
terrifying.
Lego block.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Oh my god.
Pretty
I
good.
was like raised on this.
I know. Okay, next movie.
I was allowed to watch that one.
Yeah.
Never Ending Story
No,
apparently is going to
you
get
can't do
remade.
it.
I don't
Don't
know
do
why
it.
they would do that.
Don't
Well,
do
as
it.
long as they don't computer graphic it. One of the things that's cool about one of the things that's
You're adorable.
I know, but think how cool the Luck Dragon was because he looked like a giant dog.
He did.
Don't
He
you
was
just love
amazing.
that?
No, it was yeah.
It's not a good show. Okay, most of these are kids shows. I don't give a shit.
Cliffhanger.
Oh, you were saying kid shows? Yeah.
I think this is a good kid show.
Cliffhanger.
And
Who was the villain again?
The mountain. What?
No.
Gravity?
No, wasn't it what's his face from the fifth season of Dexter?
Oh god.
On Cliffhanger?
Yeah, it wasn't because I thought there was actual bad guys on Cliffhanger, wasn't there?
I think so.
Might have
They were
been,
terrorists. Yeah.
I think so.
The guy from Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, okay.
Lithgow?
Lithgow, yeah, Lithgow was
Yes.
the villain. I'm pretty
I love
sure.
him.
He used to do a lot of villain stuff. So Cliffhanger's just kind of famous because it's
The
a
opening
completely
scene.
mediocre movie except in the opening scene.
Yeah.
We just don't expect Sylvester Stallone to drop someone.
They had some cool commercials for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just make a mountain movie. Don't remake that. Just make another one that's kind of like it and not call it Cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Maybe
you could totally do that.
So
No
I
one's
mean,
gonna-
that's-
it'll be the sequel where Sylvester Stallone has to go back and climb the same
Yes.
mountain.
Sylvester
Oh my God, that's
Stallone.
awesome.
He looks pretty good there, though.
Yeah, he
Look
does.
at that. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
because
got
that's
some
what you
muscles.
wear on a mountain.
Yep.
You know
That's
how
what I
tall
would wear.
Sylvester Stallone is? True story. You know how tall he is? 3'7".
Shut
That's
up.
true. Okay.
I was gonna argue, but
That makes him legally a midget. All right, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Although,
we've talked about on the show
yeah,
before.
except they were actually gonna get the original.
It's
too.
a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
yeah, this reboots or sequels.
Thank heavens Keanu Reeves' career has crashed and
No,
burned,
no, no,
so he
no,
can
no.
finally do a sequel.
I was
to
gonna
Bill
say
and
now.
Ted.
Think about Keanu with personality, like a stoner.
Hey, guess what? I think Keanu's best stuff is Bill and Ted's.
No, that's what I mean. Picture you'll get to see him again. Act.
I would love to see him come back as Ted.
How could you do this? How?
I say party on, dudes.
Okay.
Okay.
Party on, Wayne. Apparently, there's going to be another Dirty Dancing, which
There already was one.
There already was
Havana
one. Havana
Nights.
Nights, yeah. And somebody did a shitty country song for it. Luke Bryan or some shit. I had to play it for
maybe they'll
DJ
bring
and
back Jennifer
shit.
Grey.
You can't. It's like the music and the
And the dude.
The vibe, the
Yeah,
feel,
you
everything.
you can't.
The same thing as The Crow here.
I
Isn't
think
it?
so.
Isn't that a romantic rape movie like we were talking earlier?
It's not a romantic
She's
rape
14.
movie. She's not 14.
15 and a half.
She's definitely underage when
15
he's
and a
having
half.
sex with her.
underage to us Americans. Not
They
everyone.
are. It was set in Alabama, so
Well-
let's remember.
Oh, that's true. So it's not in. It's set in Alabama where
Is
it's
it
okay.
set in Alabama? No. I didn't think so. I thought it was like
No,
New
isn't
Isn't she
England.
16 or something?
She's pretty young.
Love knows no age.
That's right.
That's what I told her, officer. That's
right.
what I'm. But Your
Okay,
Honor, love knows
okay.
no age. Okay, so he's a little rapey.
No
Little
dirty
rapey.
dancing.
How old is he?
He's 75.
48.
He's
No,
49.
I meant in the movie.
In the movie, he plays
He's
a
probably
38-year-old.
25.
I think he plays about a 25-year-old.
21,
He'd probably
22.
be 25.
Come on.
Still statutory at the most, at best.
There's a little statutory.
Do they
going.
have sex in that movie?
They totally
yeah.
do.
Okay, I don't
They do.
remember.
They totally do.
So this is happening. We have proof that it's
Yeah,
happening.
we do.
Ninja Turtles is happening
With no noses.
with
with
noses.
noses.
With nostrils.
There's
Nostrils.
rumors. I believe this is still just rumors, but there's going to be a Naked Gun remake.
Depends on how it's written.
Don't know how you could.
Hey, okay, let me make a comment about Naked Gun.
Okay.
First of all, if you've not ever watched them, please go watch the 6 episodes of Police Squad, the TV show that later became Naked Gun, starring Leslie Nielsen. Police Squad is the best.
It's hilarious.
It's so funny. And then, I'm going to argue Naked Gun 1 is really, really funny.
I thought
Not
it
the
was
second one.
great. I thought it was funny, the first
I
one.
think 2
And a half.
has a few jokes, and 3 is just bad.
It's kind of like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
There did not need to be a fourth one of those for sure. There didn't need to be a
I was
third
talking
one.
about
If
2
the-
and 3. I was kind of like,
If they're gonna reboot Naked Gun, the only way I'm on, I mean, if it's like Haunted House 2 level of comedy,
no,
then why
yeah.
even bother? But if you're gonna be super funny, great. I don't know why you have to call it the Naked Gun.
it's
Just call it
been-
a new funny show.
It's been a while since we've had like a legitimate like slapstick
that works. Oh, it's been so long since we've had a funny
Yeah,
slapstick.
That's hard to do.
because all we get is the Wayans Brothers
Yeah.
third scary movie or
Yeah.
Meet
Or-
the Spartans or whatever.
Yeah, Meet the Spartans.
Yeah,
exactly.
we get
Whereas-
the spoof movies. That's
whereas,
all
yeah,
we
They're
get these
so
days.
bad.
Yeah.
They're so
And
bad.
I mean, this wasn't really a spoof movie.
No, well, it's
It's a
spoofed-
it's a genre.
It spoofed the
spoof,
genre.
right? Yeah,
It
yeah.
spoofed detective shows.
Yeah.
Just the way
Not the-
Airplane,
but not a show. Yeah.
right. And Airplane spoofed disaster movies
Sure.
and plane. But that's why they were so good. Top Secret spoofed spy movies, and they're really good. But boy,
Kentucky Fried Movie spoofed.
Kentucky Fried
Everything.
movies. All right,
We got a Scarface remake in the mix.
look at all that cocaine.
Looks like
And there's-
Lewis at his desk at school.
A mound of
That's Lewis's desk.
mound of cocaine about a foot thick.
It's
Yeah,
my
did they take that picture of me at work?
I think I snapped that.
I've never. He even has a wig.
Yeah, with his big
No,
on.
That's why you got
I've never
bangs.
seen that movie. I know everyone says it
It's
has.
all right.
Don't
It's-
worry about
it's
it.
kind of
I mean,
terrible.
It's
We've
31
seen it.
years old now. It's from '83. It's not a good movie.
It's not good.
They take stuff from it because it's cool, but it's
Yeah, there's
just
some
fine.
cool lines, but if you go back and watch it and everything,
Just
like,
as a straight movie, yeah.
it's like
it doesn't hold up.
the like
No.
all of, even like down to the sound effects is really like late 70s, early 80s. Like just, it's like all it's terrible. It's all
Okay.
shitty.
Moving on.
And his accent, say hello to my little friend. You're
Yeah.
like,
He's
Jesus,
got that the
Pacino.
whole movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, he does that. Oh boy.
There's a possible weird science coming down the pike.
Now
Are you done?
I do not remake this movie. The original Weird Science is a perfect film. It maybe is the greatest film of the 80s. Period.
Perfect as in
Bullshit.
Probably bullshit, but it's beautiful.
perfect as in no gaps, no plot errors,
No
nothing.
reason to remake it. No, it's just funny. It's a perfect teenage, like coming of age, ridiculous movie. you
Yeah,
know?
for white men. I'm
For
sorry,
white men.
but I think that's bullshit. I
It's
mean,
only for white men. You're not allowed to watch it because you
Yeah.
don't
You-
get
no,
it.
I watch
you
it,
don't
but
get
I'm
it.
not there.
You,
You know,
you get to have 16 candles.
Yeah, you get 16 Candles, which is also perfect.
I've seen.
I'm
neither
a
one
big
of those.
enough man that I can go into your genre. I don't know why you can't come into my genre.
I've seen this.
Challenge.
And aside from
The
gender,
gauntlet has
I
been
thought it was
thrown.
not that great. I'm
So
like,
you're not
it's fine.
you don't like the idea of creating a woman, a perfect woman out of a doll. It's Frankenstein, but with a woman.
Yeah,
Frankenstein's-
isn't that what everyone wants?
Wait.
Let's just do Stepford Wives. That's great.
That was
But she's not a
Way to
woman.
go.
She completely,
go,
she
Lou.
completely teaches these boys to not be.
Does
Yeah.
she, in her skimpy outfits, as she's leotarding around?
It's not skimpy. Look at
Yes.
well, leotards
Come
Come
aren't
on,
skimpy.
there's one where she's in the.
No,
the
they-
thing
they-
That's
with
because that's
the-
how the doll was
They
dressed.
were made.
Yeah,
She was
exactly.
made that way.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a choice in the matter.
Well, she chose to wear that dress.
Just because she
Yeah,
wants
and
to
she
look
looks
nice.
great.
Yeah, she's
Shut
proud.
up.
Doesn't mean she's asking for it.
You would wear a
Kimberly.
dress like that.
Jeez.
She's proud of her body.
Yeah, and she should be because it's
Stop
Kelly
flipping this
LeBron.
around. It's
She's
so
a
ridiculous.
strong woman.
That movie's not doing it. No one in the 80s is doing all this modern bullshit like anti-sexism bullshit.
No.
It is. It's
That
just really.
movie
It's
is
really.
not-
It's underlining. They just don't go out and say it.
They actually didn't know that they were saying it. That's how smart they were.
This movie's hilarious. You'll be surprised by some. Bill Paxton plays Chet, the world's worst older brother,
Nice.
and Robert Downey Jr.
Right
is
on.
in this movie. I think it's very funny.
I gotta
Okay.
check it out. I've never seen it.
I really do like this.
Moving
I know
on.
you do.
I think it's. I have it on DVD.
You
It's
do.
This hurts.
completely-
This also hurts.
He
Lewis.
also has this on. These are movies I watched when I first met him. I watched Weird Science. I watched Escape from New York.
Yeah.
I watched all these.
And there's a rumor that this is going to be remade, Escape from New York.
Okay.
That can be.
It could be.
Yeah.
I think.
I see
think.
that being okay.
What's with him and eye patches?
Yeah, I guess a couple movies because he
80s.
thinks he looks cool.
80s
I mean, it
thing,
does look
maybe.
cool.
He looks pretty cool.
Pretty sweet. And that chin stubble. He's a pretty good looking dude.
I like Escape from New York. I love Donald Pleasance and I love Kurt Russell. I don't think it holds up nearly as well as Big Trouble in Little China or The Thing, but it's still
The
fun.
Thing is good. I love the Thing.
Thing's
That was
great.
really good.
Yeah.
I think this is one that you could remake with the right actor and the
Yeah,
right script, and it
I
would
agree.
be cool. I think it could be really because it's a cool concept. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's also kind of awesome.
Yeah.
You know, an entire city's walled off.
Get
and-
Robert Rodriguez. Or,
Yeah, Rodriguez would probably.
You know what they could-
He could play Snake Plissken.
Escape from New York. They could just make Maze Runner 2.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways.
Set it in New York. Jumanji is rumored to be redone.
Fuck
I don't know
Jumanji.
why that needs to be. And
just
Robin.
fuck it.
Yeah, Robin Williams double feature. There's also rumors of a sequel to Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, fuck it. I
Don't know
care.
why. Rosemary's Baby is actually already on NBC.
Yeah, it's coming out in just like a week.
Yeah, it's
And I'm in this weird place where I wonder if I should watch it because I think I'm going to be really disappointed the whole time.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to
Yeah?
it.
But
it
it's on-
looks good.
but it's on TV. Do you think they'll have to?
You know what? Hannibal is on TV,
True.
and it came from
Oh,
movies,
Hannibal's
and
the
it's
best.
great.
So,
I'm
maybe,
okay with
we'll
TV
give it a
shows
try.
coming from movies or the
Okay.
storyline. But she is a good actress.
Yeah, Zoe
The
Saldana.
only
Yeah.
big issue seems lately though is how many like possession and demon baby
Right,
movies that have
right.
been coming out lately.
Yeah,
My
In the
concern,
TV?
my
No,
concern,
well, just
Not
in
in
movies.
TV. I don't think that's a
But in
TV
movies.
genre.
yeah, that's pretty.
Kind of wearing out that whole idea.
For
of-
TV though, that's pretty fresh. And an interracial couple, all the whole thing. It's
I
all
don't
good.
care about that.
Good
My
stuff.
concern for
Good
this
stuff.
though is that they're going to focus more on the scary aspects and less on the weird aspects because
Because
the original Rosemary's Baby
We
is
saw it. We
weird.
watched it.
That's a
Mhm.
weird
Yeah.
movie.
It is,
right?
yeah.
It's like you spend half the movie going,
Strange.
who are these people? What's happening?
What scary aspect? Well, we just have to wait and see, I guess.
yeah,
Just anyone having a devil baby in their tummy is scary.
I can't wait to see.
I hope
the
they
scene where
emphasize
she's
the-
impregnated, like we saw in the movie.
Yeah, I hope it's actually
I
creepy
want him to
like
do
that.
like some
Yeah.
weird shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Scratches. What
Yeah.
happened
Don't
last
tell me they're
night?
remaking The Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy.
That's a fun movie.
I don't know. I mean, well, and what's sad to me is like
I love the
feel
first
like that
one.
was just made, but this is old enough to be remade already.
the first
Yeah.
one was
that hurts a
awesome.
little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to argue that The Mummy's a remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
a little bit.
Just the idea of that kind of early 20th century adventurer.
You mean Indiana Jones?
Yeah, the Indiana Jones thing. And I think it's a good remake.
I think
it's a good reboot. And
I was gonna say I think that's probably why I actually liked it so much. Thinking back
Yeah.
on it, it's like, oh, this is almost like Indiana Jones.
But my suggestion to the people, and no one's listening to me, I understand this, is don't remake The Mummy. Just remake that style of adventure.
Yes, that
go
time
make
period.
us,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
make us an adventure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the problem with the Mummy sequels is that they keep coming back to the Mummy stuff, and that should have just been the second one. He should have had an adventure
But then we
somewhere
saw.
else.
They
you
let's
know.
be
we
honest,
saw
they should have
those-
made a second and third one.
No,
They
but then
probably
we
shouldn't
saw
have, but-
those abominable.
Snowman.
We saw those people in Mummy 3.
I know. See, but
Mummy
that's what
3
it-
sucked.
instead of
It was
Mummy,
so bad.
instead of Mummy
We kept
2,
watching
it
all
should
the
have been
mummies.
instead of Mummy 2, it should have been like The Search for Atlantis, and
Ooh,
then
same characters.
badass,
same
yeah.
characters, but each time he goes out and finds some new.
I like
why
it.
not?
See, I like
Why
that.
not? Yeah, that would have
sounds
been way
good.
cooler.
Way better.
So
They
maybe
need-
they'll have because you don't need Brendan Fraser.
No, definitely, especially not now.
Yeah.
They're going to be remaking National Lampoon's Vacation
Moving
with
on.
Ed Helms.
Okay, so National Lampoon's Vacation is a perfect film.
Yes.
Probably the best of the 1980s.
Yes.
And-
Besides Christmas Vacation, I love that one.
I know you guys all love Christmas. I'm going to argue this is the best of the vacations.
Yeah, I'd probably agree.
I love it. I think it holds up. If you want to remake it, same thing that I'm going to say with like anything else. If you can do a funny enough, like Naked Gun, if you can do a funny enough script,
Yeah,
okay, maybe Ed Helms can do it. I don't think Chevy Chase is the secret to Vacation. I think the secret to Vacation is it has so many funny parts.
Yeah.
You know, it's just constantly funny.
Yeah.
So if you can do it, but again, why remake it? Why not just make a new
Make a
funny
family
movie?
movie.
That's what I kept on coming back to is like, why do we have to recycle something we've already got? How about we put our imagination caps on and come up with the new one?
Yeah.
Because people say, "Oh, I like that movie. Let's see this movie."
Yeah, it's recognizability.
I mean, I get that.
The sheep.
But the whole thing with going back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, like Bad Milo, for example, a completely, you would never expect that to work. Like you write that idea down on paper and let someone read it and be like, "You've got to be fucking nuts." And then they go and do it seriously and in my opinion, pulled it off. Like, why can't we try doing more things like that?
I think that's ultimately why we do a remake of Vacation, because they make Bad Milo and nobody sees it. I mean, hardly anyone went to it. I haven't even seen it yet. But if I do a remake of Vacation, there's enough people that will say, like Tom said, "Oh, I like Vacation," and they'll go see it. You know, and okay, it doesn't have Chevy Chase, it has Ed Helms, but I like Vacation, I'll go.
Yeah.
So just the name recognition is enough to get people to come to the show.
It's sad. It's sad that that's what it takes to
it
get
is
people
sad.
there. Because
Okay.
because everybody complains about, there's not original
I think
deal left in Hollywood.
we talked about Goonies.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. There is a Goonies on the way, or possibly a Goonies on the way. We know Jurassic Park is getting his fourth one with Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt!
Yeah.
I love
See, that's
Chris
what's
Pratt.
exciting.
Yeah.
No.
It's a Wonderful Life.
God,
Yeah.
that's a shit movie anyway.
No, it's not. It's
I hate it, and I
amazing.
know I'm alone. I freaking hate that movie.
It's really long. It's very
Kimberly
long.
hates Jimmy Stewart.
I don't like Jimmy Stewart. I know, and again, I'm not an American.
Oh,
It's
boys
okay.
camp. Sorry, I was thinking of when
an
you
angel
did
that
that.
it's
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Won't you come out tonight and
I-
dance
I'll throw a rope around that moon and pull it down to you.
I will agree with you that movie
You never liked
is
Vertigo?
a little bit long and drawn out.
Vertigo's the
Vertigo's
best.
good.
Vertigo's great.
That's because that's Hitchcock. I'm sorry, kind of like
But
outweighs.
it shows that he
this
can
Jimmy
not
Stewart.
ruin a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah.
I just don't like him. I'll watch stuff with him in it, but
Fair
I
enough.
just don't like him. And I just stinking every time
Starship Troopers.
Sorry, that didn't really come out right. Let me say that again. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
There you go. There it is. Starship Troopers is getting
No
a
respect for the classics.
reboot, I
Yeah,
believe.
there is respect for good classics, but just because it's classic doesn't mean it's good.
Sure does.
So Starship Troopers, I think, is a great movie. I love
One of
it.
the best movies of the
90s.
90s.
But
I know,
I think it's ripe for a reboot, actually,
Okay.
because I think that the Paul Verhoeven Starship Troopers is doing something very specific. It's almost
As long as. Go ahead.
yeah, but it's making fun of the idea of propaganda.
Yeah.
And it did it well. I think if you're going to do a reboot, make it the book. You know, put them in heavy armor and all that stuff.
I want what's his face back in it though.
Casper Van Dien,
No.
Doogie Howser,
No.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
NPH. And what's her face? I had this on VHS.
Denise Richards.
I had this on VHS.
Maybe she can play a scientist or something in this one.
Yeah, let's
Jake
do
Busey.
that.
You
Yes.
guys want Jake Busey?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I own this on VHS, and the co-ed shower scene got completely worn out. Because it's 4 seconds long. I'm like, rewind. Oh,
God,
snapped my.
That's kind of sad.
snapped my
It's
tape.
so sad. Paul
There's no-
Verhoeven Paul Verhoeven loves intersex
that
shower scenes because he does it in Starship Troopers and he does it in RoboCop.
Oh, nice.
And on both soundtracks, he goes, "I think this is how the future will look. People will take showers together."
Yeah.
And so I wanted to show
At
this
least
as
that's
a
what
way.
I hope will happen.
He's clearly got that like on his mind. Like he thinks that's the most radical, interesting way to
Well,
show
to be
the
fair,
future.
with the way people are kind of more and more about, same.
Yeah, that's his
It's
point.
like-
Is as we get more and more equality, we'll just have more and more people showering together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seems reasonable.
So this show's going to go a little bit long, like I figured it would, because this was a long list of movies, but they were all worth getting to. Tomb Raider's rumored
I
to
can
get
get behind
another one because the first two were so
No,
shitty.
after I played the most recent game.
Yeah, if they do it like the most recent game, Tomb Raider's great. Well, all three of us played it, Kim.
I did.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I can get behind that.
If that's what
after
the
playing
movie
that.
looks like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Get an unknown.
Yeah.
An unknown young
Yep.
Laura Croft and make
Yeah.
her go through that transformation where she grows and has to
And then you can
survive.
have a trilogy for all I care.
Yeah, I would love to see that as a movie.
No, not Waterworld. Sorry.
Yeah, Waterworld's
Well, why?
getting redone.
Why? Just pass it.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, no reason.
Why?
And of course, what's his face? Dan Aykroyd's really pushing for a Ghostbusters.
So Harold Ramis is dead,
Or,
and
three.
Bill Murray says no.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah. Why?
Okay.
Why would you want to do that?
Because he's
Yeah.
the only Ghostbuster left alive, and so he's going to train the new recruits. Chris Pratt is obviously going to be
Obviously.
on there.
Yeah.
He'd be such a good Ghostbuster.
See, I already I need to be working in
Gosh.
Halloween.
You should.
You should be working well.
Well, let's just put Chris Pratt in
Put
everything.
Chris Pratt and everything,
Everything.
and I'm like, sure, let's have Mrs. Doubtfire too. With Chris Pratt, of
Yeah.
course.
Hell yes.
Okay, so thanks. Thanks for
Well,
putting up with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We made it through that.
Let's get on to homework. We have. I assigned a homework.
Yes.
Melancholia. What'd you guys think?
Well, the opening sequence was really weird, and I have no idea what it had to do with the rest of the movie
It's the
necessarily.
prologue.
You mean besides spoiling what's going to happen?
Yeah,
Right,
showing
but-
you
But
it does.
everything.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
And that's weird considering you guys just were complaining about the Johnny Depp movie.
But
spoiling.
here's what's different about
Totally
it.
different.
It's not the same thing. We don't watch Melancholia to get to the end to find out what happens. We watch it as a case study, an exploration into people and how they deal with things. It doesn't
How they
matter
deal
what
with
happens
depression.
at the end.
It's a show about
It's
depression,
a show about
right?
depression.
I was just waiting. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, were
So-
any of you like, I wonder if that planet's going to crash into Earth? I mean, we knew
Yeah.
it from
Yeah,
the start.
definitely.
They
We
show it in the
know.
first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we
You
know.
know.
Yeah, we know.
So this is a movie about depression. What do you think?
It depressed the shit out of both of us. I did convince the wife to watch it with me.
Really?
Yes, and I think, and coming from a female, I thought this was really funny and worth repeating. The first thing she said to me when it was all over with was, "Holy shit! I didn't realize Kirsten Dunst's boobs were that big." First thing she said, swear to God. But I think that was about the only thing she took away from it. She's like, that movie was pretty terrible. That was awful. It was depressing. I hated her by about minute 22.
Okay.
She was her characters. And she played the character really well, but I hated her character so much by minute 22. I really didn't give a shit what happened anymore. I couldn't care about her anymore. I tried. I tried to continue.
I think you're meant to. Just like you probably would hate a planet that's about to slam into Earth and kill you
But
all.
no.
But
I
at the same
disagree.
time, I've heard you talk about similar movies where there aren't any likable characters, therefore it's hard to enjoy the movie. Whereas this movie is filled with unlikable characters. Actually, there aren't really any likable characters. I like Kiefer Sutherland, but I'm a Kiefer Sutherland fan, and he was actually the only one that had a real personality.
And
pain. I'm a millionaire, but sure, I'll pay for the cab.
Yeah.
No,
I loved how he's
Begrudgingly,
I loved he was complaining about everything. This is costing me a fortune.
Okay, to be fair,
Yeah.
that mother-in-law.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you said you disagree.
Well, I disagree with Lewis saying you'd probably hate a planet that crashed into Earth and destroyed everything, and I say no. Here's the difference between us hating some planet, because the planet doesn't have any sort of intention. And so I think sometimes what we do is we hate people for the things they do, whenever honestly depression controls the person and she ruins her life, but not actively. It's because the depression has essentially taken over and is running herself. But the planet doesn't have any sort of intention, so we can't really hate it.
Right.
But why?
You could be
They're
mad
both
at
running into everything around them and destroying everything in their path.
They're pretty much the
They're
same
the same
thing.
The
yeah.
They are.
planet
That's
is
the whole point of the
metaphor.
movie.
Yeah, so we
She
saw the
is
planet.
the planet.
Yes.
The first half of the movie is her crashing into all of her relationships.
And
the second half is a
destroying it.
planet crashing into Earth. And hopefully you realize by the end of the movie, it's exactly the same
And
thing.
so why do we get so mad at her? And I think that asks us to question why we hate her, because I think we do. Like, we get
I think we
so
do hate her,
frustrated with her, and we kind of sympathize with everyone else around her, even though we realize that the Kiefer Sutherland character isn't dick. He's a rich dick.
Yeah, he is a dick.
That the mother is just as bad as the daughter. That her father, who kind of just bails on
He's
her,
bad too in his own way.
Her sister kind of tries to be supportive, but she's kind of mean to her.
kind of a dick.
She tells her what to do, and she's like, "Don't do this right now. Don't do this.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?" She goes in there, and so everybody around her is not likable either. But we kind of hate her the most, and I think we're supposed to question why.
I feel bad for the groom. Gotta be honest.
But you kind of think he's a dumb
He's an
shit for
idiot.
marrying her
Yeah.
anyway,
he
right?
knows.
He knew. He knew what
I
he was
think he
getting
knows
into.
what's going on with her.
Yeah, just everything that was going on didn't interest me.
Yeah,
in the least.
one thing that also was a pinch confusing was like all of a sudden he just kind of exited stage left, like no real conversation about anything really. Just kind of is like, well, we gave it our best. See you later.
They did go to have sex, and she did say like, no.
That's true.
And he was like,
that is kind of a.
Oh, because
but-
the sex is the deal breaker, obviously.
Well, she then immediately
No,
went
she
and had
left
sex with
with
someone
someone
else.
She left the
He doesn't
picture-
know that.
5 seconds
No,
later.
she left the picture on the couch, which meant that she really didn't care.
she
what
kept
Yeah,
leaving
yeah.
it the picture everywhere.
Yeah,
she,
left
she
it
got
like-
up
yeah.
and you just see the picture kind of drop.
Yeah.
So I think there were like all these.
Her
things
boss
along
is
the
really
way.
nice.
Man.
Well,
nice.
and she shut that down. She destroys everything.
Yeah.
But I think this movie is actually the goal, and because Lars von Trier has even talked about how he suffers from depression, I think this movie's goal is to show a woman with depression and how she can just destroy her own life, and how everyone around her is like, just stop being horrible, but she can't.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the movie is showing a natural disaster, coming for the earth, and people can have good attitudes. They can want to go sit out and have a glass
So
of wine.
everybody
and
responds differently. All the characters do
or they
different
could commit
things.
suicide, or they
Yeah,
can try and
yeah.
use science to understand things
Or
and
they
feel
run
good
away,
about
or
it.
they try and do something, or they just quit.
But
and
ultimately,
sit.
you
Like
can
everyone's,
never.
like everyone's saying, oh, it's gonna. So and so says it's gonna. All these smart people say it's just gonna barely miss us.
Right, and so I think it's trying to show that, there are some things that you just can't avoid. There's some things that they're going to crash, and you can build
And
your
you
little
can-
magic
yeah,
cave
you can
to hide from them.
pretend,
But the
can-
magic cave is just pretend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Coping
know.
mechanism
sticks.
mostly,
Like,
yeah.
just to
Yeah.
send
Defense mechanism.
to
yeah.
send this kind of message, though, I just don't think it was like at all like.
Wasn't a positive message.
Well, no,
It's
I
a-
don't. I don't
it's a
care. I
hard
don't care what
message.
kind of a message. It can be positive, negative. It can be a half empty, half full. It's just the way the story's told, and then like using this kind of comparison. It just seems like I'm gonna take two things. One being complex and involving people, and one not so complex, natural
Right.
disaster, and I'm gonna show you the comparisons between the two. And this is what's wrong with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand it. Obviously, not everything, but
Sure.
it didn't do anything for me as far as not even the Antichrist got a reaction out of me. Just even though I could never recommend it and I was disgusted at times, it got a reaction. Like even the performances were there to where I was satisfied, or I could feel the energy of the actors. If you have a movie with snobs and just depressed rich people.
It's true. It does kind of alienate you. I know what you're saying. I felt like I never quite connected to anyone in the movie either.
The planet
Not a
looked
chance.
amazing.
Yeah, it did.
The skyboxes with the planet at different points where you could see the moon and the planet
it was
at the
really
same
cool.
time, getting further and closer. I mean, that actually, I was more almost interested in what was going on at the planet than affecting the electricity. There's one thing I was kind of, because they kind of allude what's going to happen. You see some tall antennas, and she's looking at her hands in slow motion, and you see energy or something coming up. I was actually kind of hoping to see something along those lines as it got closer, but they never really alluded back to that, but maybe once, like something you see in the background. But
I don't know. For me, you guys say you didn't connect with people. I don't know if I connected with anyone either, but for me, it wasn't a problem in any way, because I found this to be like just a study of humans, and I think that it's about people thinking they're in control of their lives, but they're not. I think it's an issue of free will. I think that should be interesting to everyone, considering I think we all have different views about how much control we actually have over our lives and what we don't.
I can understand that completely, but at the same time, he's just showing one side of that coin, because you don't see any positive people trying to control a situation. You don't see any people with a different outlook trying to change something that they can't. All you see are people without hope and that are depressed. And
I think Kiefer Sutherland has hope. He's trying things, and when he loses hope, he's quick to give up. He doesn't know how to deal with not having hope.
I guess I'm thinking about a what we would consider as a good person.
Sure.
In the movie.
I argue maybe Kirsten Dunst might be our good person. She's just trapped in the prison of depression, because I think she's trying. She has such a good outlook when the limo's trying to get up the whole thing.
That was
like
funny.
She's having fun, she's driving, she's giggling, they're having fun, they walk up. She's trying to be happy. She really, I see her trying to be happy the whole time when everyone's starting to get down on her.
And that's the best you see her, and then after that, it's just like
and
whatever.
And then it does kind of snowball.
Spirals out of control a little bit.
That's like the first, the planet goes around Earth one time, and then it comes back around, and that's when it hits.
Yeah.
So maybe she's in that very first rotation, because I swear, if we put these side by side and watched part 1 and part 2 at the same time,
it's the same.
There'd be some similarities, because we talked about the sister. She says to the Kirsten Dunst person, she's like, I hate you sometimes. I hate you so much. And she says it at about the same time at the end of each part. And she says it to her at the end of the wedding, right after she's destroyed everything, and then right whenever she says, "Go sit on a toilet and shit." I don't care. To me, it doesn't matter. The planet's gonna fucking kill us.
To me, it doesn't really add any value to the movie, even if you make these similarities, or if people are willing or can connect these similarities. But speaking of Kristen Dunst, did anyone else kind of been like, huh, when you find out suddenly she has like clairvoyance or psychic powers?
I was surprised because it wasn't explained as much. She knew the beans were 678 beans,
and then
that didn't
and she
ever
knew
get
the planet
resolved.
would hit.
Yeah,
but we don't know why she knew those two things.
Maybe is it because she is, or
she's the planet?
Well, they're one and the same in the metaphor or whatever.
I think it's metaphorical. I think she knows certain things.
It kind of
in the same way that a depressed person thinks they know that there's no point. It doesn't mean that she's actually right. It's just that sense of, why even try? I know that none of this is going to work out. I think it all comes back to an exploration of what... I think this movie's trying to show non-depressed people how depression feels.
I didn't get that from it while I was watching it too. I am only getting it now, reflecting back on it and having this discussion.
That's the thing.
I didn't know what was wrong with her. I was like, what the fuck is her problem?
That's the thing with Lars von Trier movies, is you watch it and
There's
spend
so
the whole
much
time
more.
going, what the fuck? And then you get over and you start talking about it, and maybe you come up with an answer that works, and maybe you don't. Maybe it doesn't
I'm
work.
surprised they didn't even throw it. It could have remained unspoken, but like, I don't know, a bottle of antidepressants she was having
Just-
before
yeah, just-
she went up to
Just
the wedding.
just one thing to throw in there to let us
Right.
one little thing to help us out. Like I was so confused.
Well,
why
they
she was
called
such
the
a
planet
dick.
Melancholia, and Melancholia is a
Melancholy.
term. It's a term for melancholy, but it's the old word for depression. What they used to say, called depression back in
So the
Greek
title was like
times.
the biggest clue. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's the name of the planet
Missed
too.
it.
Like, listen, if a world suddenly was coming aimed at the Earth or close to the Earth, and they're talking about hey, we named the new planet. It's coming straight for the Earth. It's called depression. You'd be like, that's a bad choice for
we called it our doom.
I think if the planet
called it
were
You're
called
Fucked.
depression, it would be like way too obvious of a metaphor.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say briefly before we go. I adored, even though I didn't know what the hell was going on, I adored the opening sequence.
That
I
opening
loved
sequence
the
was
prologue.
cool.
It reminded me of Antichrist, where we had moving camera that was so still that you think it's still photography.
Yeah.
But it's actually slightly moving at the slowest speed.
Yeah, it's
and
so
it's
cool.
Gorgeous.
It is really cool.
It's
I also
gorgeous. It's
I also
so
was going to
pretty.
throw this in there. I have no idea why we had her staring into the moonlight naked. That was, I don't know what the purpose
Oh,
of
in the
that
bed of
imagery.
grass?
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what the
what
imagery
depressed
was.
people do.
Okay, that's what I
Do
was
you have
hoping
any
to.
theories?
I
I
was hoping
I
somebody
do
could
have a theory. I'm pretty sure that scene was so that Amy could see how big her breasts were.
okay, that's what I was hoping.
That's deep.
Yeah.
No, well, she's bathing under the light of melancholia. She's bathing in the light of
It's
depression.
metaphorical.
You know, it's more metaphor.
Okay.
Just like the bridge that she could never get across.
And she's just fully
her horse
accepting.
couldn't go over. That cart couldn't get over. There was
And-
just something that she couldn't cross.
He obviously had to make her naked
Sure.
to bathe in the moonlight.
Needing an excuse.
I suspect on some level, Lars von Trier's like, what would make this scene really good?
titties.
Yeah.
This gives it like +5 to art.
On some level,
I agree.
I
Well,
Well,
sometimes
it's not like
suspect-
anyone's going to see these movies. There's such a small population
Yeah.
that
True.
watches any Lars von Trier, so I don't think it's for
And to be
that
fair,
aspect. But
he almost always has his main star naked. at
But
some
I think
point.
that's a vulnerable position. I don't think
Exactly.
it's necessarily sexual. Sometimes it is, but I think it's because of vulnerability, and we saw that with Antichrist.
But even the sexual part, I think for Lars von Trier, sexuality is part of who a person is.
and I
so
think
he
that's
definitely.
very real. I don't
I
feel
bet-
like it's exploitive.
I
I
bet
really don't.
his-
Feel
I didn't.
Like that.
I didn't get
Yeah.
that from it either. I was just
Yeah.
trying. I was literally just trying to figure out what the imagery
No,
was
I
supposed
think
to
it's a
mean.
good question.
I
didn't
bet
know.
his new movie Nymphomaniac has some female nudity.
There
too.
might be some nudity
There
in
might be.
Nymphomaniac.
There might be some butthole. I'm not sure.
There's
Okay.
definitely going to be some balls. Okay.
And on that note, let's get some homework. Nathan,
Yes?
you're up for homework.
Oh.
My turn?
Yes.
I heard a dude talking on Adam Carolla's show the other day, and he sold me on whatever his project was. I immediately looked it up, read a little bit more about it, and I was in. I want to watch one called How to Be a Man.
Okay.
It is a comedy about a.
Sorry, Kim.
It's a comedy
I said I'm sorry.
about a comedian that thinks he's dying, and he hires a film crew to follow him around to give life lessons to his son.
I feel like I've almost heard about this, but maybe not. Okay, so How to Be a Man.
How to Be a Man.
We will look
It's
forward
on
to
the
that.
Netflix. Watch instantly.
Okay.
Wait, is
How to Be a Man.
is his son alive?
I believe so. I believe that's the premise.
Why is he traveling around with a camera crew instead of at home with his son?
Is Jamie Kennedy the
Are we
the
already
comedian?
critiquing the movie? Well, I'd like
Okay.
to make a movie called How to Be a Good Person as
A good
opposed to How to
parent.
Be a Man or a Girl or boy or
I don't
a
know.
woman.
I haven't watched it yet. So.
We're
Okay.
excited. Can you tell?
All right. So
Why don't
next
you
week,
assign that poop movie or whatever?
Because I'm picking this one. Saving the poop movie for another time.
all right. So next time we'll watch How to Be a Man. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening for how long is this show? 3 hours, 6 hours,
Yep.
somewhere in there.
Thank you for listening for
Yeah.
an extra 17 minutes. is
Okay,
all.
so it's
That's
not
okay.
too bad.
Not that
All right.
too bad.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please check us out on our various websites. We have timespentpoorly.com and we have Time Spent Poorly on Facebook, and you can watch us on YouTube, and you can Twitter over to Nathan L. Betts at
That's right.
Twitter. And otherwise, we'll see you next week. Have a great movie night.
That's right.
Bitches.
You always have to ruin it.
I love it. For all this and more, go to timespentpoorly.com.